How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. I am your host, Richie, here with my guy, Mr. Idris Salam, a.k.a. Bosco from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Liking that hoodie, bro?
Yes, yes. Cutlets.
Yeah, man. We are definitely talking about the ascension of Tommy Cutlets in part 2 of this show. Not covering the G-Men tonight, but I got to say, we're excited. We're looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out.
Yep.
Tonight, we're going to be covering Thursday Night Football, the Saturday games, as well as the majority of the 1 o'clocks. Because there's so many games prior to Sunday, we're purposely doing this into 2 split videos because we wanted to make sure that we had enough content on each show.
Yeah.
So we're going to start this up in Vegas. The Los Angeles Chargers are visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. And as you can see down below, draft position is the theme because both of these teams desperately need to reassess a lot of things.
Yeah. I think when the thing about it, man, I was never really high on the Chargers, but I didn't think they would be this far down, dude. I mean, it's like they just really went backwards, man. You would think this is the type of season you expect, and I'm not going to put this on Justin Herbert. This would be the type of season you expect a rookie quarterback to have. He's having a good year.
Oh, statistically, absolutely. Before he had the injury that ended his season, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like, where do you start with these guys? Well, we know the defense can't hold a lead. That defense is just, the coaching just makes bad decisions, and I just know Brandon Staley is going at the end of the year. As for the Raiders, I mean, I wanted good for Antonio Pierce, but I don't think he's going to survive. I think he'll make it through the season, but I think after that, they'll send him on his way. Because that team needs a lot. That team needs a quarterback. They need everything, man.
And you know what it is, Idris? This is a potential offseason where you're going to have more big-name coaches on the potential market than in previous years, because it goes without saying that Jim Harbaugh is very much so a possible candidate for many a job in the NFL. It could be for the Raiders. It could be for the Chargers. Either one of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to be hitting on the Bill Belichick stuff towards the end of this. But, both these teams, just so many issues internally. It's not even we're not even talking about rosters. I mean, we're just talking about organizationally, both these teams. Yeah. An utter mess. They've had moments of brilliance during the year. The Raiders had a little more brilliance this year when things were looking a little better, but things are bad. Both of these teams. The only reason why I'm picking the Raiders is because the Chargers without Justin Herbert just can't score. Now, and the Raiders didn't score last week. Like, literally didn't score last week.
That game was ugly.
But I guess what I'm saying is I trust a team without a team that's playing a team without Justin Herbert. I trust them just a little more.
Yeah.
Raiders are slightly better, and that ain't saying much. But I got the Raiders winning this thing. My God, this is going to be an ugly one. I'm going Raiders 20, Chargers 10. I don't know where the Chargers are getting that 10 points from, but they're going to figure that out.
Yeah, I got to go with you the same way. Chargers, I mean, without Justin Herbert, now you got to bring it back. And see, this goes to show how important a backup quarterback is, because you never know when your man's going down. I'm going to go 21-13 Raiders, rivalry game. Spoil it. Yeah, I mean, that's what I got.
I mean, there ain't much to it. Thursday Night Football is going to bore the nation, but this has been a season where we've just seen so many quarterbacks go down. You got Rodgers in New York. You got Jones in New York.
Yeah.
Herbert now, Burrow. Watson.
Cousins.
Yeah, Cousins. So many big-time quarterbacks have gone down this year, more than I can honestly say I ever truly remember.
But you know what? Let's not count out.
Giannis just dropped 64.
Woo!
Setting a Bucks franchise record. Most points in NBA this season. Well, that goes without saying. 140, 126 victory over the Indians. 64. That is impressive,
man. Well, I was saying about Thursday Night Football, let's not count it out because everyone thought Monday Night Football was going to be a bore.
That's true. That is a valid point.
Yeah. But
I mean, historically, the Raiders and Chargers put together some interesting games. It's just this isn't going to be one of the flagship ones here.
I don't see it either. I'm just saying.
And as we go moving along to the slate on Saturday, you're talking about quarterbacks that are hurt, quarterbacks that are underperforming. You got the Minnesota Vikings miraculously at 7-6, visiting the Cincinnati Bengals, who share the same record. Jamar Chase right now is a little murky on his status. Justin Jefferson said he will be playing. Vikings need this game. They both need this game. Got to give you some credit here, but you called it on Jake Browning.
I wanted him as a Giant. I said we can get him in the second round, and he went undrafted. I said we can use him. They said, nah. I said, look, I seen that kid playing Washington. He's not great, but he's good. He was a 3-year starter in Washington. I knew how good he was.
No, you nailed it. You truly nailed it with Jake Browning. I've said it on many a show. I believe that he has the ability to run the Bengals offense good enough. Joe Burrow is an all-pro. I'm not comparing him to Joe Burrow, but what I am saying is that the Bengals offense doesn't lose a lot of steps when you put in Browning. He's able to get the ball everywhere. You don't have to compromise the playbook.
Right.
And on the contrast, you're talking about Minnesota. Yeah. Kirk Cousins down for the year. Dobbs did have some early season magic when he first took over after being traded from Arizona. But this is crazy, man. He got benched in favor of career journeyman Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins is getting the start.
I know. I'm surprised at that. Because if Justin Jefferson is playing, I think Dobbs would have done a lot better. We'll see what happens.
I would have to think that he's going to be on a short leash, Mullins, and if he looks bad, maybe Dobbs does get reinserted. But I would have to think that they're at least going to give Mullins a half to see how the offense responds to him.
Yeah.
As the game goes, no, and I think that's exactly, unfortunately, what's going to happen. With or without Jamar Chase, I hope he does play. But for my fantasy purposes, this doesn't affect me. I got to buy this week. But I do like the Vikings with or without Chase. I'm going to just say I'm assuming he's not playing this week.
Yeah.
I got the Bengals winning this thing. I'm going to go 30-17. I think the Vikings will hang. You know what? Now I'm going lower than that. I'm going to go 30-10. Yeah, I don't like the Vikings offense right now. What happened last week against the Raiders was an aberration to professional football. In the most offensive-driven era where they make it easier to score points and you come away with a 3-0 total.
In the last few minutes of the game.
Disgusting on so many levels. The fact that the Vikings are 7-6, you do have to credit some of that to Kirk Cousins. This team, this is the crazy thing about the Vikings, bro. This is a team that started off the season 0-4. 0-4, and they are right now 7-6, and very much in the thick of things. And I know that they are happy that the Packers lost. They're happy that the Rams lost. And they're happy that the Seahawks lost. The Vikings. Yeah, right. Everybody's losing, but make no mistake, the Minnesota Vikings right now are not a very good football team. The Cincinnati Bengals, on the other hand, as I already alluded to, their offense looks good enough. And to be honest, they have the second best quarterback right now in this division. Behind Lamar Jackson, it's Jake Browning, because it's not anybody that Pittsburgh is going to throw out there.
Oh, no.
And yes, Joe Flacco just picked up his 100th career victory, joining a pretty good list of quarterbacks, but it's not Joe Flacco.
Not the one we saw in Baltimore.
No, sir.
I think with this game, I think Nick Mullins he's not going to get it. It's a shame because Kirk Cousins got hurt, and this team needs a quarterback. I think this team would be challenging Detroit had Cousins not got hurt, but things happen. But they're going to Cincinnati. I'm going Cincinnati 28-13.
So we're like-minded on this. I think the Bengals are making the playoffs, bro. I'm going to say it. And I saw their schedule. Their schedule is not that easy.
It's not that easy, yeah.
But, who
knows?
They're playing defense, too.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase is a very important player, but I have faith that Jake Browning could win this particular game without him, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Game 2, this could be an interesting one. You got a struggling Steelers offense traveling to the Colts. They're another surprise team at 7-6. Both these teams got rocked last week.
Yeah.
Each offense has struggled. Maybe the Steelers, sometimes I think what could galvanize a team is getting away from home. They lost 2 in a row in Pittsburgh to 2 very bad teams.
Yeah.
The Cardinals and the Patriots in consecutive weeks, which is really hard to wrap my head around. Because even with the offensive struggles, you just don't see that happening.
You had Mitchell Trubisky as your quarterback. You should have won that game.
One would think. Bailey Zappi.
Yes.
Bailey Zappi had a career game. Patriots offense. I know our girl Chanel was probably like, where have they been all year?
And then Arizona. I still don't know the quarterback's name in Arizona. You let them come and beat you?
Arizona's a bad team, but Gannon is a good coach. Give him a couple of years.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals have to actually make the commitment to stick with a coach.
Yeah.
This game,
Kyler Murray's playing, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Get that man on Call of Duty. You'll ruin his QBR.
That's what you don't know what quarterback is. Yeah.
This is another game. Backup quarterbacks. You got Gardner Minshew, who's been he's been erratic, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
I like the Steelers in this game, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody else does.
Pretty much.
Are they going to lose 3 in a row? Is Mike Tomlin about to lose his 3rd in a row? What's more probable? The Steelers winning an ugly game that could potentially drive them closer to having another winning season. And mind you, I didn't say playoffs. Another winning season? Or is it more feasible that the Colts are going to fall out of the bracket or get pushed down a little? I'm going to go with the latter.
Yeah.
This game just has like that Steeler stink on it. Like they're going to come in there and win an ugly one. And the Colts fans are going to get really irritated because this is a team that right now is in a wild card position. But they're not that good.
They're not that good, man.
The Steelers for the win. This is not going to be too high scoring. I'm going to go Steelers 23, Colts 20, and I'm actually going to change my pick in Jordan's pick'em pool because at the eye test, I just did click on the Colts. I thought about this. No, the Steelers going to get a road dub.
Yeah, I'm with you on this too. I just don't see Mike Tomlin losing 3 straight. No. I don't see it happening.
But then again, we didn't see Bill Belichick. What's his record? 3-11 this year either. So this might be a year that things just don't make sense.
But I'm going Pittsburgh 21. I don't want to say 21. That might be a little too much. I'm going to go 20-16.
And it wouldn't blow my mind if they score on defense.
Right. Yeah.
Or if they do something that sets up the offense through the defense. I don't know. I like the Steelers in this one. And there's
too.
Literally no reason for me to pick them other than history.
Right. Same here.
This is going to be a good one. Denver Broncos 7-6, Detroit Lions 9-4. Lions are still in the driver's seat because of the help that they got from the Giants. Green Bay was kind of surging. As the Broncos go, they've been a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde in their own right. But when I look at the first month and a half of the season versus the rest of it, the Broncos have gradually been a better team. Detroit is winning, but they are struggling. And they did lose. They did lose to the Bears last week.
Yeah.
Got off to a great start. But, 2 divisional losses recently. You got the Bears loss. You got the Packers loss.
Packers loss, yep.
This is an offense where last couple of weeks, Jared Goff has been struggling mightily.
Yeah. You're supposed to beat Chicago and Green Bay. You're supposed to beat those two teams. You didn't look good in either one of them. Jared Goff is starting to like the Jared Goff who's last year in Los Angeles got him benched. You got your whole squad healthy, basically.
Ivan Hidalgo, just hold on, buddy. We're going to answer that question.
Go ahead. Hutchinson's been balling out. You're supposed to beat Chicago and Green Bay. You're supposed to beat them.
Well, that's the problem. I had this conversation with my cousin in Michigan, who's a diehard Lion fan.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, he's like, well, actually, I told him. I said, the problem is you guys don't have a playmaker on defense past Hutch. I like Anzalone, but you don't really. And then on offense, things that were working so easily, it's like I feel that the league is starting to get hip to what the Lions do.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I agree.
I'm going to divert this 1 second here. We got a question.
Yeah.
Hello, gentlemen. Question. What do you guys think on the whole Kansas City Chiefs dilemma and Patrick Mahomes' statement on what he thought on the play the refs called? Do y'all think he did the right thing? I was supposed to explain this. The latter, Ivan. The latter. I said this on the other show a couple of days ago. I feel that Patrick Mahomes, when you consider how many calls over the years the Kansas City Chiefs have received
this year.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Sauce Gardner one. Most importantly, Ivan, Kadarius Toney was offsides.
He wasn't just offsides, dude. He was in the next zip code.
Yeah, I understand being frustrated, but truth be told, Ivan, I think that the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes alike, are not used to struggling the way they've been struggling this particular year. And I think what you saw in a short mic clip is an example of something bigger brewing. And what's brewing is that there is a lot of frustration in that organization right now. And, quite frankly, they're just not used to struggling. And I think, Mahomes gets asked to do a lot. This is a team whose receivers are amongst the league leaders in drops. There's a lot of games they could have and should have won, but a lot of fundamental stuff is the reason why. To answer your question, Ivan, I think Mahomes is wrong, but from the competitive aspect, even though I think he's a crybaby, I do understand that too.
The way I look at it with Toney, it's not. I mean, the referees have been telling receivers move back as a courtesy, but they don't have to tell you. You're the quarterback. Move back, because you see quarterbacks all the time. Move back. They run that offense, and Toney. I mean,
that happened to Terry McLaurin last year on Thursday Night Football in a very integral moment.
And even what's his name, the head of the officials, he even said in the past they haven't called it much, but he said they've called it a lot this year.
It's a courtesy.
Toney, I mean, come on, dude. I can see you having your foot and you're leaning back, but dude, you could not see. You're looking right at. You couldn't see.
They give you that little bit of. They give you that little bit of gray area.
Dude, he was like his whole body.
And what's crazy about it, what's truly crazy about the play, is that Toney being offsides literally did not benefit the play until later in the play, which really didn't matter if he was offsides because Travis Kelce, got to give him credit for a play that doesn't count. Yeah. He had the wherewithal to know that he was going to get tracked down. And he had the faith in his arm to throw a perfect spiral lateral backwards. Yeah. He can throw. That was very impressive. But as this one goes, oh, man, this is a tough one for me to call.
Yeah.
But I feel that the Lions are going to do just enough to figure this thing out. I think that Dan Campbell is going to get these guys ready to play. I think that this legitimately could be a high-scoring game. I've been calling for a high-scoring game with these Broncos for a couple of weeks now. Of course, when I made that prediction with the Charger game, I didn't account that Justin Herbert was going to be injured.
Yeah,
this could be the one where we get that elusive shootout. I'm going to go Lions 34, Broncos 30. It's not going to be easy. Lions late with a go-ahead touchdown, and Yeah, I think Jared Goff gets back on the horse this week.
I'm going to go 34-31 Lions. I believe the same thing. They're at home.
What's up, Shelly?
What up? I think they'll get it together.
And yeah, we are live, Shelly. I was explaining to her. I was explaining to her how we do like the YouTube.
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we are definitely live.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I say 34-31 Detroit. They get back on they'll get back on get the going. I just still see them falling apart like they've been doing. They're gonna get
so you don't see this thing being as high scoring as me. I'm calling for a shootout.
No, yeah. I said 34-31.
Oh, 34-31. So,
yeah, 34-31. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We got it. We better disagree soon. The Chicago Bears head into the dog pound. The 8-5 Browns, 5-8 Bears. The Browns, Joe Flacco just won his 100th game, as I alluded to earlier. Mm-hmm. Browns are looking good for a playoff berth. The Bears have been playing good ball too lately.
Justin Fields figuring it out.
Yeah, Justin Fields, I think, is starting to show the Bears that maybe he is indeed the right choice moving forward. Because I tell a lot of Bears fans that are pissed off that they're starting to win now. I'm like, don't be upset. You want to finish strong because you went in with the expectation that this kid Fields was going to be the future. And he has had some moments of brilliance this year.
And they got the draft. I mean, regardless of how they finished, they got Carolina's #1 pick.
That's correct.
And Carolina's going to get that #1 pick. So, I mean, they're going to be okay, I think with this game, I think the Browns defense is going to do what they do. I think they'll contain Justin Fields and DJ. I think Flacco, he has has a full game under his belt. Got the concept of the game plan. I think he'll have a good game too. I think he'll play like he played last week. I think the defense will come up. I'm going to call it 28-17 Cleveland.
I'm going to go a little higher than that. I got the Browns winning this thing. I'm going to go 28-20. I think the Bears are going to compete. Mm-hmm. I think Joe Flacco is going to have another high passer rating. I really mean that. I think Flacco is going to ball out here.
Me too.
Difference in the game, I think Myles Garrett is going to get his hands on Justin Fields in some critical moments.
Yeah, he's going to get on his nerves, yeah. Another agreement. We got to disagree, man. We got to disagree.
We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to Lambeau to take on the Green Bay Packers. Both these teams sharing identical records. Packers are coming off a tough loss, a game that looks like they were going to steal. That was before Tommy DeVito's final drive. I would say this is a must-win for the Packers, not so much the Bucs. Now, granted, a Buck loss and a Falcon win could drive the Bucs backwards. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, in that topsy-turvy division, nobody's going to run away. Whereas for Green Bay, when you have a surging Rams team, I can't believe I'm even saying this, a surging Giants team, the Packers cannot afford to lose this one. As Tampa goes, I like the play of Baker Mayfield lately.
Yeah.
It's been a mixed bag, good Baker, bad Baker. Right now, it's been good Baker.
Yeah.
I also like what I'm seeing out of Tampa's receivers. I like what I'm seeing out of their defense. People forget this is a team that has Super Bowl winners on that defense. It was not that long ago, guys.
A couple of years ago.
No Aaron Jones again, more than likely. This is a tough one to call yet again. I like the Green Bay Packers like literally by a hair. I think this is going to be a low-scoring, tough-fought game. Got the Packers winning by 1 point. Green Bay 24, Tampa 23. And Tampa runs the risk of ending up in second in the South at day's end. I think the Packers are going to respond. This is a team that beat the Chiefs and the Lions in consecutive weeks before getting beat by the Giants. And let's be honest, I'm happy the Giants won. I love what DeVito did, but the God's honest truth is that stadium was incredibly windy, and Jordan Love missed so many throws that he normally doesn't miss. And I think he gets it right this week. Defensive struggle for the most part. I think the difference in the game is that Baker Mayfield the bad one might be re-arriving in Lambeau. Packers by a point.
Yeah, everything you said. I think Bad Baker shows up. I think that Packer defense picks it up. I think Jordan Love. I think he makes those throws. They're back at home, and they lost. I mean, let's keep it real. They lost a heartbreaker because they thought they had it, and I ain't gonna lie, I almost thought they had it too. I was like,
I thought we had it.
Yeah,
and then I thought they had it.
Yeah,
and then we ended up getting it.
Yeah, but I think he turns it around. I got it at 21-18, Green Bay.
Yeah, close.
Depends on the weather, of course.
Yeah, absolutely depends on the weather. But
2018.
Tampa doesn't strike me as a team that bad weather would really rock them because, a lot of people forget, you might not get snow in Tampa, but you definitely get windy conditions. You definitely get like bad rain. Reason I like Green Bay is because I just don't think Matt LaFleur is going to let them take their eyes off the prize this week. Now, I'm telling you, I'm rooting for the Bucs.
Yeah, me too.
For the sheer fact that a New York Giant win would jump the Green Bay Packers. And there's still some more jumping to go down. They will also jump the New Orleans Saints with a win. That's on another show, but, we're getting a little edgy on that. Yeah. New England Patriots at 3-10, traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to take on an 8-5 Chiefs team who has definitely been having trouble on offense and just underachieving. Ivan's question earlier, a temper tantrum from Patrick Mahomes overshadowed a bigger problem that the Chiefs are truly struggling. Their chances at home field advantage have dwindled, and now even winning the AFC West is in question. Is this the final stretch for Patriots legendary head coach, Mr. Bill Belichick? Many believe so, as some reports out of Boston from very reputable places are saying that this decision to replace Bill Belichick, let him go off and do something different, or maybe just retire, was made back during the overseas game against the Indianapolis Colts. They even said the upset win in Pittsburgh on a national setting doesn't really move the needle.
Right.
In my personal opinion, I believe that this is the end for Bill Belichick in New England. It's hard for me to even mean that and say it, but I do mean it while I am saying it. And I must admit, it's kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sad because it's the end of an era no matter how you slice it. And it's not about being a Patriot sympathizer or anything like that. I have a affection for Bill Belichick because of what he did for our organization in the 80s and early 90s, helping us win 2 Super Bowls as the defensive coordinator. But I do believe that there is a possible scenario where maybe Bill is offered to stay, but Bob Kraft wants him to give up the GM duties. But then you take the ball back into Bill's court, and he's like, he's going to want that power, or he's going to go. And I think that's ultimately the catalyst for the divorce. I do want to say this, even at 71 years old or whatever, I think Bill Belichick is going to coach next year for somebody.
I do too.
Because he's still chasing that elusive championship without Tom Brady as a head coach. He actually leads Tom by 1 ring because he has 2 with the G-men, where Brady has 7 with 1 with the Bucs, 6 with the Pats. But this is the thing, dude. I believe that he is not going to give up until he ties Brady, because a lot of people feel, and some of it has some merit, that he cannot win without Tom Brady. Do I think that's totally true or totally fair? No, I don't, because Brady went to a ready-made Super Bowl team when the Patriots lost him, whereas Bill had to start from the ground up again, because when you're a coach, you don't get to just bring in a bunch of super team guys like in one sitting. It takes time.
Bill lost Edelman. He lost Gronk. He lost quite a few people on that team.
And he did take the Patriots to the playoffs in year 1 with Mac, but it has been a steady regression, I should say. And the God's honest truth is, I don't think the Patriots from a roster-based standpoint are necessarily that far. And I don't think this is about the X's and O's of coaching. But when you revisit a draft only 2-3 years ago, where Bill Belichick basically doesn't have any players that he handpicked on the current Patriot roster. It screams that he is out of touch with evaluating talent from a general manager perspective. Do I think he could coach up anybody? Absolutely. Do I think he makes players better that come into his program? Absolutely. Does he get the most out of guys that didn't do shit anywhere else? Once again, absolutely. But I've been saying this for years now, and Brett agrees with me. I know Zappy, if he was here, he'd say the same thing. They all believe that Bill Belichick needs to give up the GM duties. Maybe he could salvage being the coach. Knowing that ego, knowing the other ego, it ain't happening. Bill's gone.
I agree. It's a shame because, you know, this guy, he took a big fall, man. For 20 years, was like the guy, you know? He was just the guy. And now you're talking like, okay, it's time to get rid of him. I think he'll find another coaching deal. It wouldn't be surprised if he went to Chicago, even Vegas.
That would be intriguing.
Yeah, or even Vegas. I don't think he'll go to the Chargers. I think that's Kellen Moore.
It's either Kellen Moore or it's Jim Harbaugh.
Or Jim Harbaugh, yeah. But see, with Harbaugh, wouldn't surprise me if he went to Vegas, you know. But anyway, as for this game here, I don't see it being close. I think Kansas City figures it out this week. They're back at home. They're going against a quarterback who they got Bailey Zappi playing, so I don't know.
Bailey Zappi's coming off a good game.
Yeah, so
I'll be honest, bro.
I'm still going KC in a route.
I don't blame you for picking KC. I'm also going to pick KC. But the thing is, I think the Patriots are going to keep this thing close.
I want to say that too, but
the reason I feel like they could is because the Chiefs are like legitimately struggling. This isn't just some phase they're going through or something. This is the Chiefs of who they are now.
You could have Patriots defense is not that bad. It's not great, but you know, I was talking to
I feel comfortable saying they're very good.
Yeah, I was talking to the Cowboy fan the other day about Zeke Elliott. So I said, you might want to look at Zeke's stats this past week. Zeke had a damn good game. I mean, he got like 130 yards total offense, ground in the air. I said, that's pretty good for a guy who's, you know, backup, you know, running back.
Right.
I could see them keeping it close. I don't know, man. I'm just going to say KC wins. I'm going to say a 10-point spread, KC. I can't give a score.
I'm going to go KC 26, KC 29, Patriots 23. Yeah, I just don't see KC blowing anybody out right now. And the Patriots look like a better team when Bailey Zappi's under center.
If I got to give a score, I'll say 27-17, 27-20, something like that, somewhere around there.
In South Beach, we have got. Oh, and by the way, Bailey Zappi is not a big fan of Taylor Swift. He made that very clear.
Yeah.
But Bailey Zappi also made it very clear that he's a country fan. Right. So he was kind of giving a strong opinion. I'm going to tell you another reason I love Bill. Let's not get off this just yet.
Oh, no, we good.
Belichick did his weekly radio show interview about the whole Taylor Swift stuff. And so-and-so from the radio station wanted tickets.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, guy who's been in the building over 20 years in that organization, is like, I don't know anything about tickets, but I'll pass it along to the ticket people. He's such a grumpy bastard. And I fucking love it.
Me too. Because when he says it, it's like, I don't really care. You know, it don't mean it. It's like he speaks with that Shaquille O'Neal voice, like, I don't really care. Yeah.
I love it. Because he's all football, man. The ultimate Grinch. He's all football all the time. And he don't give a damn how impersonable he is. He don't care if you don't like him.
That's what I like.
And I got news for you. In a league where so many coaches try to sell their personalities to the media, they're like, love me. Bill Belichick could give two shits. Just like the man who taught him the craft at that level,
same way,
Mr. Parcells.
You either gonna love me, or you're gonna hate me. Either way, I don't care.
And I got news for you. Bill is even more of a prick, Belichick, that is, than Parcells, because Parcells still gotta have that humor on him.
Yeah.
Nah, Bill is a sour grape.
We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah. On to Miami.
He's not gonna give you nothing.
On to Miami. And heading to Miami are those New York Jets, 5-8. 9-4 Dolphins coming off a terrible loss to a Tennessee Titan team that's inferior. Tyreek Hill should be playing, but he's going to be needing treatment for the rest of the year on that ankle. As the Jets go, Zach Wilson, congrats to him. AFC Player of the Week. This is a guy that just 2 weeks ago said he didn't feel comfortable starting and, kind of a bit of a head case.
Yeah.
And the Jets just really beat the crap out of the Texans in all three phases of the game.
They just ran the Texans off the field.
Yeah, the Jets have had moments like that where they look like who they could be.
Yeah.
When they get good quarterback play. And the reason I emphasize quarterback play, a Jet victory in South Beach could get Aaron Rodgers back for Christmas Eve against the Washington Commanders. That was his target date to return. But one would believe that that's not going to be on the table if the Jets lose this game. And this is the problem I have here. Is Miami really going to lose 2 in a row at home? I mean, crazier things have happened. Because I would love to see Aaron Rodgers come back, but I cannot see any reason that if this team drops to 5-9, what are they? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's Miami is what Dallas was. They hadn't beat a team with a winning record yet, and they let the teams and their losses. I'm going Jets, man. I'm going on.
Miami has a weaker resume than the Cowboys because the Cowboys at least got 2 consecutive wins over winning teams. They just the 2 teams that are playing on Monday night or Sunday night, whatever, prime time this week. Seattle, Philly just both got their doors blown off by the Cowboys.
Exactly. I'm going to go with the Jets in the upset, man. 24-21, man. I think they'll get to Tua.
Shelly Ray, I say dump the girl. Yeah, she's definitely referring to Taylor Swift. And a lot of fantasy owners would share your sentiment, Shelly, because the God's honest truth is Travis Kelce has been very unfocused for his standards, and his numbers just aren't what they normally are.
Right. Too much Hollywood.
So for real. So you got the Dolphins for the win?
No, I got the Jets, 24-21.
Thank God we could finally disagree. I
got faith in you, brother.
I expect the Jets to hang around for most of this game. I think in the fourth quarter is where you're going to see Miami turn it on into another gear. I've got the Dolphins winning this thing 30-20. Respectable performance by the Jets, but essentially this loss will end their playoff hopes.
You know what's so funny about this? We can move on. Both players of the week, AFC, NFC, they both play at MetLife Stadium. Tommy Cutlets.
That is correct.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, man.
Rangers win, Giants won, Jets won, Buffalo won. Everybody in New York won that day.
Yeah, it was a good day, man. Definitely a good day. And I'm sure LPG, the pride of New York Giants fan base, more than likely did his Dunkin' Tuesday. Normally it would be a Dunkin' Monday.
Yeah.
Victory Tuesday. Joe's always so outgoing with the community, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, but, I like him, man.
Yeah, Joe's a good dude, man. Joe's real, man. Joe's real.
Yeah.
The thing I like about him is like what you see is what you get. Super fan of the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great thing. He's the man was in attendance for Super Bowl 25. I like when sometimes he'll show some of his flashback pictures from previous Giant games.
Yeah,
it's really cool. And the chain has grown, so to speak.
Yeah,
with the many license plates.
I follow him, man. Yeah, I like
entertaining guy. Really, really, really good dude, man. And what I like about him too is that, at the end of the day, he's a fan.
He's a fan.
And he always emphasizes, don't fight amongst yourselves, guys. We all got the same thing in common. We love this team.
Yeah. I want to meet him, man. That's the one guy I want to meet.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting him back in 2015 during the tailgate for the Patriots-Giants game.
Yeah.
Brett met him. I got to meet Super Bowl hero for the Giants, 1990, Stephen Baker. Another great guy, phenomenal human being.
Touchdown maker.
Yep. Touchdown maker, 85. 85 has been a very good number for our boys.
Yeah.
That wraps it up for our NFL segment. But I know, Idris, you did mention to me off air that you wanted to speak on the news regarding Draymond Green. Have at it.
You got to suspend this guy more than 10 games this time. And I was listening to some radio people saying it's a cry out for help and all. No, it's not. Stop making excuses for this guy. I like Draymond, but he's not crying out for help. What he said in this interview, I usually don't apologize for what I do because I mean what I do. Blah, blah, blah. But I was wrong. No. This is a guy who he plays tough guy, but he's in an era where you can play tough guy because a lot of players are not going to jump in your face and punch you in the mouth. People say, well, he's made for the 90s. No, he's not. Because in the 90s, he's 6'7".
No.
And 6'7", you get smacked. Back then, you had Carmelo, you had Shaq, you had Bart, you had a bunch of players that, especially Rodman, who want you to come to the court so they can punk you. Every night, he would be getting into a fight because guys would be picking Rasheed Wallace, Mr. Technical Foul himself.
What about our man Oak?
Oak
Anthony Mason, rest in peace.
Nobody
wanted to get those hands.
And the Miami Heat guys down there. All those teams, man. I mean, he wouldn't have made it in the 90s. For one thing, he's in the 90s, he would have been average at best because he's not a good shooter. He's not a great free throw shooter. He can rebound.
The one thing I'll give him is he hustles.
He hustles. But I don't think he'll be what he is. In the 90s, he wouldn't be what he is now. He become
a guy like LeBron could bang and hang with the dudes in the 90s and 80s because he's such a superior, freakish athlete.
Yeah.
I think a guy like a Steph Curry, just to make an analogy, I think if you insert him in the 90s, he would still be a phenomenal shooter, but I think he'd look a lot more like formerly Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Yeah.
I don't think he would necessarily look like the Steph Curry now because let's be real, defense is not emphasized and the rules are not the same. There's no hand checking. There's a lot of variables. Back to Draymond.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more on that part. Like stepping on Sabonis during last year's playoffs.
He got to get at least 20 because, see, the guy he hit, I can't pronounce his name. He's 6'11".
Right.
Draymond was 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know the average is if I turn around and I'm 6'1", and if I turn around and try to hit someone 6'4", chance I'm going to hit him right here in his chest or whatever.
Right.
I'm not going to hit him in his face. This guy's 6'11".
Right.
And the way when I saw the way he swung around, no.
And I'll be honest, there's one thing about not taking no shit in that golden era and knocking somebody on their ass when they're approaching the paint, because believe you me, our 90s Knicks, Pat Riley tried to duplicate the bad boy Pistons of the 80s. But what I don't like with Draymond is that I feel that he just does a lot of punk shit.
He does.
And not for nothing. It's like he legitimately tries to hurt dudes in the most punk kind of ways. Like even with the Rudy Gobert thing.
Yeah, that right there. And see, that's his third suspension, whatever, of just in 30 days. You gotta sit him down. I mean, I'm not a John Morant guy, huh?
I'm gonna make an analogy for you.
Yeah.
You remember Malice at the Palace?
Yep.
Do you recall Ron Artest being one of the contributors, the main contributor, that started that fight? But when Ben Wallace wanted to get that work, he didn't want no part of it. No. And what does Ron Artest do? He fights with a little fat Latino dude that was like 5'4".
Yep.
I'm like, bro, like you are not a tough guy. I don't give a shit how much you rep QB and all this other nonsense. No, sir. Ron Artest, with all due respect, another goon. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate Ron.
Yeah,
I'm just making it clear.
But it is what it is, though. You know.
But Ron ain't no tough guy like that. You know who was a tough guy? Haywood. Brendan Haywood was a tough guy.
Goon.
Charles Oakley was a tough
Goon.
guy.
Yeah.
Bill Laimbeer was a tough guy.
Goon. Yep. That could shoot.
And I'll be honest with you. Even I'm not saying he was in the goon category.
Yeah.
But Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, if you piss those dudes off,
they're swinging on you.
You will get those hands. You will get those hands. I mean, Mike, for the most part, showed his anger by just humiliating whoever the hell pissed him off more times than not. But I would have to say the only guy that really got to Mike on the level where he lost control was Reggie Miller.
Oh yeah. He buried a choke wrestler.
Reggie Miller, not a tough guy, but you know what Reggie Miller was? Mentally tough.
Yeah,
because he knew how to get under you. He knew how to exploit your weaknesses, and I think that's something that Mike over time appreciated about Reggie. You don't know who tough guy is?
Yeah,
Zeke.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas was a tough guy.
A little tough guy. What, 6'1", 6'2"?
Don't let that whole cheek kiss on that brother tip with Magic Johnson fool you. That is a tough dude.
Tough guy.
And speaking of Irvin, one of the classiest people on this planet. But don't think for a second that Irvin is above sticking that elbow in your ribs.
Right.
Because
that's why
he did it to his best friend, Isaiah Thomas.
That's why I said with Draymond does it today because he can get away with it. Draymond's trying to live up to that tough guy attitude that people say, oh, you wouldn't make it tonight. No, dude, you get away with it because, this era, guys are not going to fight you like that because they don't want to lose money. They don't want to get sat on the bench. They don't want none of that. That's why. Because I'm pretty sure a guy like Rudy Gobert, if he really wanted to, fight him back. Do that to Jokic. You hit Jokic. He's like, oh, he's going to give. But he never does it to Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic ain't playing that.
That's all I got to say on it. But he deserves 20 at least. At least 20. John Morant got, 25? Got to give him 20, man.
He's making a good point here, Ivan. He's basically saying, in less words, that he believes the Golden State dynasty years are essentially over. This is the age thing. Now they got to talk about 2 years, 48 extension, the Wiggins situation. And I even, speaking of the Warriors, this might ring a bell to you. It wasn't that long ago when Draymond Green actually punked his own teammate. And once again, to the whole point about fake tough guy, a smaller player.
Right.
A smaller player.
Right.
Now, I love this dude's. Look at that.
I see.
Barkley, come on now. Love this. Love this. Let's go, G-Man. Thanks for hanging. We're gonna be covering the Giant game on Saturday. We did week 15 part 1 today. Yeah, we're gonna be opening our next show covering the Giants. And we are definitely excited.
Yeah.
About the prospect of defeating the Saints. But back to Draymond.
Yeah, Draymond.
Historically, we play good in that building, even going back to Eli Manning, his actual best game as a pro, unfortunately, ending in a loss when we didn't have a defense. But, nobody likes to remember that. They only like to remember when Eli had a defense for 2 Super Bowl runs.
Yeah, Draymond needs 20 at least.
20 at least, but there needs to be a bigger precedent going. And I'm not into, suspending guys for a year like they did with Ron Artest and all this other stuff. But the point I'm making is Draymond is not a real tough guy.
No.
Do I think Draymond's a punk in real life? No. But I think that his, how do I say this? It's like, I feel that he's obsessed with being recognized as more, just be comfortable with who you are in the here and the now, dude.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. No.
He's not a tough guy.
No.
Nah, he's like I said, he only does it during this era because he know he can get away with it, and he's trying to make it seem like I was a tough guy. No, dude, all the tough guys are retired. They're retired. If LeBron won the punk, LeBron could, but LeBron got too much to lose by stepping down to that level.
You know who was a tough guy?
Yeah,
AI, and not because of anything to do with the hands. AI was tough because when you look at his scrawny body and he was muscle, but he was small.
He barely weighed what, 185 or something?
If that.
Yeah.
And when you consider that this is a dude that went at the rack against one of the most unforgiving shot blockers in that era, and a guy who will put you on your ass in Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
And just kept getting up and just kept getting up. That's a tough guy. There's a lot of different ways to show who's tough and who's not. Yeah. But that dude was a tough guy. Jordan Poole situation was key and strong. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond a bum. On some metrics, I mean, I have such a high standard because I was treated to watching 90s basketball. I caught the tail end of the 80s, like the end of the Laker dynasty. So I got to see a little bit of Magic. I got to see all of Jordan. Got to see Kobe. Got to see Duncan.
Yeah.
Obviously, LeBron mixes in there with the newer age guys like KD and such. But the point is, bro, this ain't that era.
Nah. It's okay to play. It's okay to be physical, but what he did, nah. He'd have got knocked out in the 90s. He'd have got clocked.
Draymond got the same intentions of a Bill Laimbeer, a punk wannabe tough guy, a manipulator. I agree with half that statement, Ivan. Bill Laimbeer would not be a guy that I necessarily want to square with.
Nah.
But then again, Ivan's a guy that I wouldn't necessarily want to square with. That man lives at the gym. If we get famous enough, I already told Ivan, I'm definitely hiring you for security. One of the nicest people you ever meet, but bro, I was swole, bro.
Shouts out that he participated in the show. Shouts out to Ivan, man.
Always, bro. Huge fan. Greatly appreciate him. Anything that you want to hit on before we get out of here, Idris? Got about 9 minutes, 8 minutes.
No, just NBA ratings are down 45% over the past 10 years. I did a research on it today. The ratings still hadn't reached the 90s when Jordan played. It's not a knock on the players of today. It's a knock on the rules. People are tired of
the product too, bro.
The product we're getting on the field, on the court. People's traveling and the flopping and all this other nonsense. Not playing ball or whining, and
they at least have done something about the extra flops now.
Yeah.
They're actually teeing up guys. But you know what it is? Any sport, and then believe me, the NFL pisses me off too with this.
Yeah.
You know who was losing their patience? It was Troy Aikman doing that Giant game the other night with how many stoppages and how long it took them to figure out some simple things. Or even like on the NBA. It's like, bro, when you got referees getting on microphones and talking in front of like the MSG, that's weird, bro. That's weird.
Let's play. Let the guys play. That's why
I'm convinced that some of these dudes like being on TV. I really mean that.
That's why I say they need to relax on some of. Let these guys play. Let them bang when they start getting crazy. Throw a foul, but let them play. Let them play back. Let them go up and down the court. This is how the game was. The game evolved. Like you play physical ball. I can see the elbow and stuff. You got to get rid of that. But let them bang down. Let the big man bang.
This is disheartening. Knicks get beat by the Jazz by 4.
Dang.
Yeah, that's not a team we should be losing to if we're talking about Mitch Robinson. That's a big loss too.
Yeah. Damn. That's it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Referees, do your job. Just stop trying to be Hollywood. You're not Tim Donaghy.
Yeah, Tim Donaghy sold it to Netflix after that, and that's another thing too. It's like, guys. I don't know if you really are gonna like that is a concern amongst a lot of purists of sports. Like, if it happened before, I'm not supposed to just naturally think it don't happen again.
Right.
Trust is earned, bro. Right. Trust is earned, and if you're burning the fans on trust, and the sick thing is, my Uncle Dom, rest his soul, he was a bookie, and he told me, bro, he was like. Let me tell you, the easiest game to fix is basketball.
Yeah.
Because you could literally just let a ball dribble off your legs. And I'm not insinuating that anything's fixed. I'm just saying that when you have what happened with Tim Donaghy about 15 or so years ago, and he went to prison for what he did. It's a terrible look. And I don't know where these ratings drops truly started if we're going year to year, but one thing I must admit, it's something to think about once that hit the air. And
Actually,
even with Michael Jordan, with sorry to interrupt you, even with Michael Jordan with his gambling situation, and that dude Richard Esquinas wrote a book about him. Like I told Brett this many a time. I believe that Michael Jordan's retirement, the first one, was more like an unofficial suspension because he was bringing too much negativity to the NBA, and he was their poster child. I think David Stern, may he rest in peace, I think he wanted MJ to disappear for just long enough for the people to start missing him. Kind of let, and don't get me wrong, his father being murdered in that horrible situation, I do believe that did take a lot out of Mike, but I think that the two things coming together, whether there's a connection or not, and I don't care to go there because quite frankly, it's none of my business. But the point is that I feel that there was just too much negativity surrounding Mike at the time, and David Stern, I think, told him, you got to go away for a little while.
Possibly.
Oh, yeah, Dylan Brooks? Bro, I'm the furthest thing from a LeBron fan, Ivan. But when he sunned him last year in the playoffs, I was happy.
I'm going to be honest with you. I like Dylan Brooks.
You know why, bro? Because Dylan Brooks is the equivalent of an NBA troll that you are as an internet troll. Yeah, that's why you like that guy.
He's the fly in the ointment, man. I like Dylan Brooks.
I don't like that dude.
I love Dylan Brooks.
I'm glad because that gives us something to disagree about.
I love Dylan Brooks, man. He's the fly in the ointment, man.
And on that note, we're going to get flying out of here. For Idris, I'm Richie. We appreciate you guys staying up late with us tonight. We're going to be back Saturday. We'll give you a start time. We're going to figure that out. Part 2, Week 15, NFL preview. And my God, we're going to hit on that Shohei thing too. I do want to say this on the way out. Shohei Ohtani deferring the final year of the $700 million over about an 18 or 19 year period when that contract is over to continue to get paid. He
600, I think it was 680 million.
It's absurd because he's making like $2 million for the next 9 years a year, but he's gonna bang out hard on that at the end. But you know what I like about what Shohei's doing? Because baseball has no salary cap and because you can manipulate contracts like this, Shohei is making it possible for the Dodgers to continue to add talent. There is no salary cap, but there's a luxury tax.
Right.
And by Shohei pushing all that shit to the back, he makes it possible for them to go out and get a Yamamoto and other players. I know that Yamamoto's been – no, not yet.
Oh,
not yet, but he has been linked. He's been linked to the Mets, Yankees, and Dodgers. Most.
Please come to the Yankees.
I sure hope you're right, but I wouldn't mind Jordan Montgomery as a consolation prize.
Yeah,
but Yamamoto is definitely the next big prize. I mean, what an offseason if the New York Yankees, or for that matter, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Either, I don't.
You talk about a hell of an offseason for either team.
Yeah. Solo and Yamamoto together.
Let's go Giants. Hit us in the comments quick.
Yeah.
Is Tommy DeVito the real deal, or is he just a great story that ultimately is a backup quarterback? I think it's somewhere in the middle, but I love what I'm seeing out of him. I will say this. The throws that he made on Monday Night Football, Tyrod Taylor nor Daniel Jones making that throw. No disrespect to either one of them, just keeping it a buck.
I think let's go Giants. I know we got ready to go. I think he's earned himself a spot, even if it's third string practice squad. I think he's earned it.
I gotta think at minimum he's your backup next year. Coming up on the final minute, you could draft a quarterback still. In my opinion, I think round 2 makes the most sense. I think you go out and get the best tackle on the board round 1. That's just my preference.
Yeah, me too.
But the thing is, with Tyrod on an expiring deal and with Tyrod being considerably older, I think the biggest thing is that you're not losing much with DeVito on the roster, not to mention Daniel Jones probably not going to be ready until about week 4 or 5. I can't remember the last time we had a game-winning drive like that. He's the real deal. Yeah, that was pretty damn legit. To answer your question, sir, me and Idris saw it in Jacksonville. Yeah. Until next time, but not like that.
We were in the end zone too.
On the ground. Yeah, right in front of that goal line stand. For Idris, I am Richie. Have a great night, and thank you for hanging with us.
Let's go Giants.
We'll be back.